Sometimes you need to. Sometimes you need to, you know?
All right, after the film and watching Boise State, a really good football game, offensively, defensively, and we continue to gain momentum. I think our team is improving. I think they're more optimistic than ever. The bye week comes at a really good time to heal. Nice to get a few extra days looking at Wisconsin, and we're looking forward to a great game in Madison on a big stage in front of a lot of people. And I think our team is looking forward to it. I like where the bye has come, and I think it's setting up nicely for our stretch run of the next 4 games, but more importantly, our next game.
How much of this week is getting healthy and conditioning, and then how much is Wisconsin prep?
Most is being healthy. Probably 2 days worth of Wisconsin prep, physical prep, 3 days if you add a meeting day. And then most of our Wisconsin work will be next week.
Give us an injury update. How the guys doing?
Everybody looks good for the game. So those that had concussions are improved from game day till now. And so if we were playing this upcoming Saturday, that would be touch and go. But being the next Saturday, there's no risk.
What did you learn about how to handle the bye week from the way things went the last time when you had it earlier?
Not much, because the previous 8 years, I don't think we lost on a bye week, and so I've just learned more about my team, and so my team in week 3 is different than the team in week 8, and so our bye week will look different. So really, not so much from that bye week as just after 8 weeks with these guys where they are.
Will you do anything different, or is it basically
it's quite a bit different.
As far as the old line goes, you kind of keep. I think Michael Yeck's only been the only starter to start every game. What's going on there? Do you still have some guys nicked up, or?
No, competition is a huge part of it. I would say some nicked up, but that's not the primary reason. We're playing 8 or 9 a game, and I think they're actually getting better. And so I like the way they played against Boise. And currently, with this tempo, with the number of plays, and what it's taking, we don't have 5 that could make it the whole game. It takes about 9 for this year's team anyway.
There was a little bit of sloppy tackling. Do you attribute that to just Boise had some really slippery guys, or is that a kind of a problem?
I think Boise has a really good running back, and I also think in terms of plays run, it was 97 defensively. So at some point, a really good running back and a lot of plays, kind of wear and tear, I would say. But I wouldn't have characterized it. I think there were a few missed tackles, but I still don't see it maybe the level that you do.
Bronco, can you talk more about the schedule you have coming up? Opportunity to play Wisconsin and Notre Dame as opposed to what you've been able to play.
It's really what we were hoping when we became independent. It's fun to have had Texas in our stadium. It's fun to have had Georgia Tech in our stadium. It's fun to have had Boise State in our stadium. Fun to have had Utah in our stadium. And now, late in the year as an independent, that we get Wisconsin and Notre Dame, that's closer to what I envisioned at the beginning. It just takes time to get there.
Do you see that as a way to perhaps validate yourselves nationally, just the progress you made over the years?
The validation comes by playing well against the best teams on the biggest stages, and our whole schedule this year has been to increase visibility, exposure, but also I would say reputation for not only being a top 25 team consistently to more. And we're positioned pretty well to play well at Wisconsin. If we do that, then we'll see who's next, and then we'll just keep going. But it becomes intriguing about now.
As far as the Skylar Ridley suspension, can you explain kind of what the mechanism was? Is there a governing body that...
It's interesting. I learned quite a bit about that. So what happened is the play happens in the game. It's not flagged. So every play from each game is then reviewed. We have an agreement with the Big 12. And so Big 12 crews and the Big 12 officials, the supervisor of the Big 12 crews, they watch our game. They look at every play. They saw that play and then flagged it and agreed that, okay, this one ought to be sent in to the national coordinator officials, which is Rogers Redding. So they thought it should have been flagged. They sent it to him. He then thought it should have been flagged. When that happens, then they come together and set a suspension. And so usually when it's post, where there wasn't a penalty in the game, but after it usually is a half a game. and that's the way it worked. And then I found out Tuesday morning. They alerted me Monday night that it could happen. They were sending a play in, and then I was called Tuesday morning.
Is it something you can appeal, or is it?
You know, I don't know.
Okay.
I saw the play and I thought it was targeting, so I
Was
didn't
he
appeal.
blocking or what?
He peeled back and he hit a guy really, really hard and courageous, and the guy saw him coming, but it was face to face. And dude, the guy was a lot bigger than Skyler, so it was a courageous play. But under the rules now, it qualified for that. And in my opinion, I still think 15 yards during the game is a severe enough penalty just after going through it. But no appeal because it fit within what the rule says.
Bronco, you've had 4 junior college players make a significant impact on this team, seeing regular playing time. 3 of those first-year players. Can you just talk about their impact?
You'd have to tell me who they are right off the bat.
Robertson, Daniel,
Yeah.
Edward Fusi, and DeAndre West.
So Robertson Daniel might be, because of our lack of depth in the secondary and at corner specifically going into the year, he might be one of the most valuable players on the team. If in terms of impact, if a player goes down, who could have the biggest impact on our team? It might be him. And so he's done a really nice job, not only in coverage but tackling. DeAndre, with some of the challenges at O-line, at offensive tackle, opposite Michael Yeck, huge influence. And recently now, not at the beginning, but recently Edward Fusi, now that his conditioning, now that his academic issues, now that his transfer status, etc., and he's practiced long enough, he actually in this last game started to emerge as someone that is maybe who we thought he was at the beginning.
But junior college players, do you know pretty early on if they're going to be able to contribute?
Yeah, you do. And the evaluation criteria and really the mechanism is quite different. We don't have as much time with them as high school players, so there's usually more risk, especially when you have injuries like we did. We did bring in a lot of O-linemen simply for numbers, and under that criteria, we were hopeful that at least half would be able to contribute, and that's about where we are for this year.
There were some nice surprises in the Boise State game. The one that the tight ends seem to get more involved, and can you talk about maybe the performance here and kind of what allowed that to occur?
Well, there's more and more focus going on Taysom running it, and there's more and more focus going outside in terms of covering our receivers. And so when that happens, the linebackers become the next target in terms of conflict, and that means our inside receivers. And Brett Thompson took a ball to the eye and had a damaged retina, so he didn't play, so the tight ends then took that spot and made the most of it.
As far as this season, does it feel similar to like your 2006, 2007 season where you started out a little slow and then kind of got rolling and won a bunch of games in a row?
Man, I don't remember 6 and 7 very much. That's all the 11 win seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, similar right now, especially with good games to look forward to down the stretch. So the feeling on the team is similar. Different team, different criteria, but we're gaining momentum, and I'm optimistic.
Kyle Van Noy also got semifinals for the Butkus Award. Is he where you thought? Is he doing what you expected him to be doing at this point?
Man, I don't ever underestimate what Kyle can do. He's drawing a lot of attention by our opponents. I know that. A lot of protection slide to him, and he's being chipped a lot, and he's playing a lot of plays, but he's really good. And so any accolades that he gets, he deserves.
Kyle's doing really well, but also Wani Unga, another 15-tackle game this last performance. Talk about him, and maybe is he getting some attention from
Wani Unga is
outside?
a really good player, and is one of the best players on our defense this year. And another player, in addition to him, is Alani Fua, and those two have really done a nice job this season, and probably neither one had received much attention going in. But if you were to say right now 2 of the best players defensively, those 2 are doing a nice job.
Do you recall ever having a season like this one in terms of how many concussions your players have sustained?
Man, you know, I don't. And just after watching Daniel on the sideline, it's scary. So players that run really fast and are big and are strong, I think that's part of what's happening is that, and possibly why the rules in terms of targeting, etc., can be argued for in terms of player safety. And so I think it's just a unique situation to be in, and we're trying to educate our guys best we can. And I think the equipment people, as well as everyone else, are trying to do their best as officials are doing their best they can to manage it. And I don't think we have all the solutions yet, but probably making some progress.
Was Daniel's situation more scary than,
Yeah.
say, Jamal's and some of the others?
Not necessarily as much as Jamal's. Those two would be similar to me. Just the reaction or lack of reaction of those players when they're on the field. Man, you just kind of hope they wake up, and then you hope when they wake up they can move. And so I was worried for all my guys, but those two they just seemed a little bit more severe on the field.
Any personal experiences like that you had when you played college ball?
I wasn't good enough to hit anyone that hard or et cetera, so I was mostly watching.
Thanks.
Thanks.